All right, today I'm here with Jess Jacobson. She is here to share some of the strategies she's used to get some amazing results in her business. Welcome, Jess.
Hi, thanks, Heather. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. So, why don't we start off with what do you do? Who do you work with? And what's the outcome that you get for your clients?
Yes, I help highly sensitive people validate, understand, and develop their spiritual psychic gifts so that they can live their life feeling safer in their bodies and their environment and move forward with spiritual purpose.
Amazing, amazing. How long have you been doing that?
My whole life, like like 20 years, but really that specifically really got teased out and refined when I went through your program. So in earnest, like a year and a half.
Okay,
So that,
awesome. But this has been a gift that you've had for a long time, but you just weren't sure how to monetize it or reach people in order to help them and go deep with them, sort of thing.
yes, really, I was a trauma healer working sort of half time. I was a mom, raising kids, working half time. And then the kids got old enough I could work full time, and I got burned out on trauma healing. And I mean, it's beautiful, and it's in this work, but really through your work, I realized like, oh, this is what brings me the most joy. And this is the thing that people ask me for all the time. And it didn't occur to me that I could teach this.
Amazing. That's so cool. That's so cool. Okay, so let's dive into that a little bit. Like, what was your situation before we worked together? Like, what kinds of things were you doing to get clients? How were you running your business?
Totally. So it was all word of mouth, because what I do anyway is hard to explain. So
Hmm.
all word of mouth, I was working half time. I wasn't doing a lot except for telling people about me, but I wasn't
Hmm.
telling people about the results.
Mm,
And that is something that I really learned from you. If I could just interject that, and I see this a lot actually with people in the wellness and healing field, that they're all like, this is who I am and this is what I do. And they list all their degrees. I don't know if anyone cares. I mean, they might, but I want to know, how are you going to help me? Right. And that's not
exactly.
was. And so I also wasn't, I was like, oh, I'll help you heal your trauma. Well, what the heck does that mean?
Yeah,
Right.
it just kind of goes over their head because they don't really even know that they might not even know that they have trauma. They just know that they
Yeah.
have the things that the trauma is affecting in their lives,
That's
right?
right. So I didn't know how to communicate that effectively. I got a lot of clients word of mouth, but I didn't know how to grow. And I knew
Hmm.
that I wanted to teach, but I didn't know what or how to teach. Like that's actually been a deeper
Mm,
thing for many, many years.
okay.
And there were a couple key things that you said, which I wrote down because I like to share them.
Okay.
Um, okay,
Mhm.
so let me just preface this with I'm a Leo.
Okay.
And one time you said, I don't know if it was in one of your videos or when you were talking to the group, you said, you don't have to be famous to be successful.
Ah, okay.
And as a Leo, that was very meaningful because I have a little ego around that.
Oh, interesting.
And you're like, look at me, I'm very successful. And, nobody knows who the heck I am. I do some talks here and there. So I really was like, oh my God, that was a real turning point for me. And the other thing that I had to go back and do, probably had to go back and do the first few, you don't call them chapters, maybe you call them sessions,
Modules?
modules. I had to
Or
do it a few
weeks?
times,
Yeah.
because
It's pretty deep, right? It goes very deep
uh-huh.
to
And
uncover this stuff.
that first bit you do, I just did it surface. I did what was familiar to me,
Yeah. That's
right?
so common. Yeah. Uh-huh.
And so
Yeah.
when oh, this doesn't quite feel right, it's like, okay, I'm going to go back and do it again.
Yeah.
And then it really wasn't until the third time that I was able to listen. And one of your questions
Um,
is, what do people tell you that you do well, or what do people ask from you?
yeah. So just uncovering your value, like your core values and like what makes you stand out, what makes you different, what's people's perception of you, because perception's really reality.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have our own idea of ourselves and what we think, and then it's like, what are we projecting that people are really picking up?
Right.
And yeah, it's so huge. That's so great. That's great that you actually like went back, went deeper and deeper. That's, I mean, that's really the core foundation of it all that everything else stems from. So really, really good.
Yeah, it was perfect. And really, when I finally was able to get out of my own way and listen to what
Mhm.
other people were saying and what my clients were saying, I was like, oh my God, this is what I'm supposed to teach.
So
And
good.
you know, and I'll tell you how effective it was using your tools. I filled 3 workshops in 6 months.
Wow.
Three.
Wow. Because I only heard about the first one. So okay, let's break this down. The first one, well, how much do you charge for these workshops, first of all?
The first one was 4 weeks, and it was only
Okay.
it was only a total of 8 hours. It was like 2 hours on a Saturday or something.
Okay.
And I charged $1,200, I think.
Okay,
Next,
$1,200 per person for the results. It's not for the time because nobody cares about how long it
but
takes. If you could get that result in 10 minutes or whatever, right? Like,
I'm still conditioned for the time, right?
right?
Yeah, I've
So
been
like $1,200 for the results that you get for your clients. I'm sure it was super valuable. I'm sure they got the results because you're an expert at what you do. So, and how many people attended that first one?
8 people the first time.
8 people times 1,200, whatever. You can do the math later. Okay, let's talk about the second one.
The second one I did for 5 weeks. I had 3 repeat students because they wanted
Uh-huh.
to go deeper, so I had to go deeper.
Nice.
I gave them a discount, which
Uh-huh.
you may or may not have worked, but just or agree with. But and then so the same,
I usually don't, but that's okay.
but so
But whatever works, whatever works.
same amount of money. And then there was so much desire for people to take another one. I created a 12-week program,
Yeah,
which was the inspiration for what we're doing now. And
amazing.
um, that was 4,200. It was $4,800. It was
Yeah,
40.
48. Yeah, and the last I heard, okay, so I heard about the third one. I didn't hear about the first two. So the third one, so 4,800. I heard you had three, and then you had a whole bunch of people that were interested. So did it fill up? I
It
never.
overfilled. I took more than
Oh
I had 12 people
my,
because
amazing.
it's just me, right? So it's
Yeah,
I can hold. That's
incredible.
very
So
intensive.
because people are coming back for more, that tells me you're getting results.
Mm-hmm.
Because they wouldn't come back for more if they weren't getting the results of what you promised in the first place, right?
Right. And now
So
I'm going to take the
incredible.
same group to Mexico in February.
I love it. Okay. Do you have the pricing ready to go for that one or
Yeah, 3 grand. Three
three
grand.
grand?
Mm-hmm.
Has anybody signed up for that one yet?
3 people signed up. Yep.
3 people already. Amazing. So this is it. This is the results. That was going to be my next question. What specifically did you get from the program? Oh no, yeah. Oh no, that was my next question was what results did you see? So we already covered that. Those are some great results. Any other results actually that you'd like to share other than
Yeah,
those?
I think it's so much more than.
Yeah.
I think the thing I want to say is, it's so much more than business what you're offering.
Mm,
It's such a deep dive into self and
mm,
to how you want to step into your purpose.
mm.
Maybe not everyone takes it like that. That's how I
They
live.
do. They
So that
do.
I really, it was a very deep experience. And um, one of the things that you offer are a lot of practical material tools,
Hmm.
which I, that was a real, oh, that was hard.
Yeah. I remember you having some resistance around that, but we talked through it.
We talked through it, and some of it I need and use, and some of it I may need. I don't need yet, but I may
Hmm.
in the future. In
Yep.
fact, I had a really hard time conceptualizing an online program.
Huh?
Now you're doing it in person a few times. And also part of the 12-week program was it was once a week online and then 4 3-day weekends. That's how we did it.
Nice.
So now I can conceptualize an online program, and I am literally, it's so funny that we got in touch with each other when we did, because I was literally working on a new VFO for the
So
online.
you didn't waste your time.
Mhm.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Every person is different. Like your knowledge, your wisdom, your expertise is different. Who you ideally want to work with is different. Your whole overall arching vision of your business is different. So what I do my best to try and help my clients with or serve my clients with is how do we keep your authentic
Mhm.
self and your authentic purpose and design your ideal business that you want
Mhm.
versus this like really strict like kind of like this is how it has to be blah 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 because it's not going to work for everybody is because of all those factors, right? There is that same formula from business to business to business. Every business needs clients. Every business has to do marketing to reach those clients. Everybody has to be able to communicate the value effectively around what they're offering in order to enroll people into, so that they can go deep with them so that they can help them. But yeah, but it's like I do my best to give you that clarity of what is that for you? How does that look like for you? What are you going to create that's really valuable around what you're ultimately passionate about? And then how do you monetize that and
That's
hit
right.
your income goals?
And a lot of it is I mean, you do such a great job of meeting a practical need while also not forcing you into a box. So if you can,
Yeah.
like, as a student of yours, a lot of my work was getting out of my own way.
Mhm. That's most people's thing. And so, my job is to recognize what is that resistance in you? How can we move you through that, past it, so that you can really thrive and really get what you want?
Yeah. And some other great advice you gave me was like, you're not responsible for other people's pocketbooks. You're
Yeah.
responsible for what you need to make, and you've got to know that you're an expert in your field. And
Mm-hmm.
if you believe that and you keep doing your work, then and you advertise and you do the thing, then those people that can't afford it will show up. I cannot believe even doing your work and even after running the first two workshops and people were asking for more and more and more, I was like, I
Mm-hmm.
guess there's no room for me to be afraid anymore because
Yeah.
they're like crazy. They want it, you know?
Yes.
But it was still scary to jump out on that limb and be like,
Mhm.
okay, I guess. But it
Yeah.
like the most amazing experience. And so then I was able to take that and know that I had a marketing strategy. Like I
Yep.
think that's why we were able to leave a place of 25 years where I was very successful in that last year, especially because of the work you and I did together and all that group we had was so great. Um, I'm able to trust that I can start over.
And over and over and over because you've got the skills now, you've got the knowledge, you've got that clarity around how to do it. And like, I mean, that is a formula. So like if you wanted to create another offer or you wanted to, like you're doing your Mexico trip, that's
Hmm.
like different, right? That's different than the first thing you did. So being
Right.
able to, again, how do you communicate the value around that now to get the right people finding you, calling you, and paying you? Um, so amazing, amazing. And what specifically did you get from the program, would you say, to get those results? Like, give me maybe top three.
Okay. What did I get from the program? Well, the first thing is I really learned about what I wanted to do. Like even though I'd been doing one thing for a really long time, I was able to finally distill it down to what brings me the most joy and get out
Mm-hmm.
of the way of nobody's going to pay for that. I'm crazy. That is huge because that's I mean, I think that's the first thing um, that I got out. The other thing was knowing how to communicate what I do. Never in my life have I been able to tell people what I do. And we went through mission statement stuff, which just seems so like, what do we need to worry about this mission statement for? Which is a silly thing to say. But like the mission statement stuff was really helpful because you would see in the group, including myself, like we get half of it, but we'd miss the other half. And so to keep circling back around, that gets it for you, it gets it for us. So then it
Yeah.
gets it for them. So that
Yep.
worked really valuable. And then the other thing that I think was really valuable is some of the practical tools. The VFO, I mean, in order to make one of those right, you really have to sit down and know what you're offering and know why you're doing it and how you want to serve and how you want to help people.
Yeah, and how you can position yourself as the go-to against the competition too.
That's right. That's right. And so those VFOs I think are really valuable. Um, and then the tools, the follow-up tools, like I don't know what you call it, that tells you, who's hitting on it, who's following up on it, what's working, like those tools that, what do you call those tools? I
Those
guess Stealth tells you that, and then you get your,
Oh, to see like how far they're watching, where are they dropping off, that type of thing yeah, so that you can tweak it to make it more effective.
that
Yeah.
was huge for me.
The data. We're always looking at the data to see what's being effective instead of just guessing like, why isn't anybody calling? Why isn't anybody going on
Well, there's
or
ego there.
whatever?
Even if you
Yeah.
don't need for there to be ego, your favorite part of the VFO, or yeah, is that what it's called? Might be
Mhm.
someone might be going like, "What the hell is she talking about?"
Yeah, so a VFO, let's just clear that up for people
Okay.
that don't know what a VFO is, because that's kind of my term for it. It's a valuable free offer, and it can also be called like a VSL, a lead magnet, or whatever. But I call it a valuable free offer because there's a lot of value in it for the person, and it does a lot of the heavy lifting to get people to get on a call or book a call so that you can actually have a conversation with them to see if they're a good fit for what you're offering. And it also, one thing we didn't mention too, is it weeds out the people that wouldn't be a good fit and really brings in the people that would be a good fit. So it saves a lot of time that way too, because you don't want to be talking to a whole bunch of people that wouldn't really be a good fit for what you're offering.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, that's exactly right. I remember when we had our first call, and I said, "I want you to show me exactly what you did to get me on this call." That
yeah.
like, those were
And
my
would you say that? And that's what I did, right?
That's exactly what you did. So
Yeah.
I would say, I mean, what you offer is really, it's multiple parts, but I think the first part of that really getting out of your own way and being willing to break your own box, which is what you really have to do, I think, to be successful.
Yeah.
Because I was really already very confident in what I did, even if I couldn't
Yeah.
do it well.
Hmm.
Um,
You
but it's
were.
breaking free of that box that led me to this, right? Where
Yeah.
So that is fundamental. And then having the practical tools, like, oh, they were a pain in the butt for me to learn, but they were so necessary. Having those follow up emails, learning how to create that automation was like,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
so necessary.
So necessary.
So
Yeah, it's a learning curve. But now it's like, now looking back, you've got all these invaluable skills that you can use anywhere, anytime. You've
for
got a
every,
list of people you can reach out to invite them into the next thing. It's so great. So, oh, there was something I was gonna say and now I forgot.
well, I just want to say
Yeah.
I made a stupid amount of money last year, more money than I've ever made in my life. And I did it all from October to June. And it was the
Doing what
most
you
fun.
love.
It's the most fun I've ever had in my career because I
Yes.
was doing what I wanted to do and I had to work hard and I had to create
Yeah.
some work. But I don't believe personally, like I could cry. I don't think that I would have been able to take those steps had I not been willing to do that first foundational work with you of breaking almost like, breaking through my own box. So
Yeah.
I just say thank you for that.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's like I feel like a proud mom, like whenever I do these interviews, I'm just like, oh my gosh, and it just reassures me too that okay, it works, and
It does work.
I get to help people. Then you're helping people, so it's like this ripple effect into the world. I get to help you, you help them. It
Oh, there.
help their family and friends and community, and it's just like this huge go giver, type thing, and just this is what keeps me going too, right? Because
Yeah.
it's not always easy,
Yeah.
right? But I know that it works, and I'm out there, and you're out there, and I know people watching this, it's the same thing. They want to get out there, they want to live their dreams, they want to monetize their passions and make a huge impact, and also make money for their families and have that time freedom too, where they're not burnt out like you were before we met.
Time
Now
freedom.
you've had the most fun, you've made the most money, you know.
And I'm just getting started. That's kind of what the most amazing thing
So
is right
cool.
getting started. And
Yeah.
another thing that you said that I think is really, because I know the group of people that you serve, and you said to me, maybe to me, maybe to everyone, that we tend to have in this field of spirituality or wellness or whatever, we have this idea of if everything's in alignment, it's going to work out. I 100% had that idea. And that's entitlement. You have to put the time in, and of course we know what, like attracts like. So if you put energy into something, you're going to create something.
Mhm.
And I just didn't know how to spend my energy and where to put it.
Yeah. It
You
was
were,
in your blind spot. You're
yeah,
like,
were able to
yeah,
direct, your program really helped direct me. And it was work,
yeah,
no joke. Like
yeah.
it's a lot of work, but it's worth every, I mean, I have 23 acres in Idaho. I'm creating a
Amazing.
retreat,
I
like
know.
this.
I see the pictures. It just looks so peaceful, so beautiful. You're like, it's morning, and it's just like this gorgeous, giant, vast
Yeah, that's
piece
great.
of nature that's just gorgeous. That's awesome. And yeah, I think that what that, I think that stems a lot from that programming, that employee, I call it employee versus empire mindset, right? We're programmed our whole lives in our society to be employees and to
Right.
trade time for money and to, scarce has this like kind of scarcity mindset too.
Yeah.
Um, and it's like, okay, well, now you're a business owner. Like we don't want to create another job here.
Right.
You want a full-fledged business. So how do we build that? How do we create that strong foundation and then scale from there? That's so awesome.
I
I'm
mean,
so glad.
when it took me a year. I mean, I was really, when I got in touch with you, I really wanted to be rolling in like 3 months. You're like, listen, sister, that's
I'm going to give you everything you need
yeah.
in 8 weeks, but
So it's
yeah, it takes some
like
time to implement. There's a learning curve for
there's a learning
sure.
curve and there's some
Yeah.
integration, there's some
Hmm.
integration of the new belief systems. A lot of us
Yeah.
don't feel like we're supposed to make money for doing good service work, but why?
Mm.
You know what I mean? So there's some
Yeah.
of new belief systems. And then, so was it October is when I started working with you, and is in October the following year is when I launched my first workshop, and we're just
Okay.
2 year mark,
Yeah.
and my flipping life has changed.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
That's it though. Yeah, you're on this whole new trajectory
Mhm.
of abundance and
And
time
ease.
freedom and
Yeah.
ease and get to spend that quality time doing what you love to do. And that's the whole thing, right? And it's different for everybody. Sometimes people already have stuff created that we can use and it can go a little bit faster. Some people take a little bit longer. It's just like, I mean, you had to go back 3 times, which is totally fine. And a lot of people do because there's a lot to unpack. I mean, you've got, I don't know how old you are, 30, 40 years of, unpacking to do. That's pretty quick.
Do you
50,
want?
51, awesome. 51 years of unpacking to do, to turn it all around and have this whole new, amazing dream life in a year. It's pretty good.
Pretty.
That's pretty quick.
It's like it's no
And
joke.
just
Like
one more thing,
yeah,
statistically, I want to say it takes 3 to 5 years for 50% of businesses to be successful. The other 50% never figure it out. So again, a year versus 3 to 5 years, and there you go.
yeah. No,
I mean,
I really couldn't be more grateful, Heather.
yeah,
I borrowed money from my friends to do your thing, and they believed in me, and
love
I paid
it.
back in the first workshop. I
That's
mean,
so great.
like honestly, it really has been like it has given me confidence that I didn't even know I
Hmm.
needed. I was really stuck,
Yeah.
and it really your work, and it seems, when you get the work, you're like, what am I doing? Do it, and then do it
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, I remember how strong you were like on our first call and and I can't remember exactly what I asked you. I don't know. I can't remember, but it was something like, well, kind of like, how's it going now? Is it working now? No. Okay, well, what if, you know, what if it would work? Did you have any fears before investing with me?
Um, no, because it would only be me that would let myself down, and I wasn't about to let myself down. You're the way you got me to call, the way you teach us to get other people to
Yeah.
was so tight,
Yeah.
so good that I was like, if she can show me how to do this, I'll be fine.
Yeah, you were living proof that it worked because you were there.
I was there. That's right.
Right?
So
I'm like,
good.
let me just show you what I do. That's it. That's it. Awesome. So, what else did we do well to get you the results that we did?
I think something that was really beneficial was the group calls. When we all got together once a week, you got to see you're not alone in the
Yeah.
struggle. A lot of
Yeah.
people are like, oh, yeah. And then when you witness it in someone else, it's easier to own it within yourself, I think. Um,
Hmm.
it shines a little light of like, oh, I've got work to do there. And I see how this person is kind of floundering and I can answer it for her, but why can't I answer it for me? So you get
Yeah.
practice. Um,
Uh-huh.
get a lot of feedback from that group of what works and what doesn't work. Even though they're always trying to be nice, they'll still tell you
Yeah.
it doesn't quite work. So I think that is really beneficial. You're not going through it alone.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it's a commitment to yourself, is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Commitment, being coachable, being resourceful, being decisive, pivoting, if things
Being
aren't
coach, that you
being
nailed it. You got to be
coachable.
coachable.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And having that community is really powerful and really valuable. So yeah, because you're not alone, you're going through these struggles, but also you can get answers really quickly, or you can get that feedback of someone that might be maybe your ideal person or avatar or whatever, and be able to give you that feedback, or know somebody like that or whatever. Like there's so many benefits to having that community and having it as a group versus one-on-one. I feel like you get a lot more out of it, and you get to model the whole model, like for
Right.
yourself. If you want to have that type of a program, you get to
There's a
model
lot of
it.
joy in other people's successes, like watching Ari. Like she's
Yeah.
successful. You know what I mean? And we're still in touch. And like I'm so
Oh,
happy
awesome.
successes. You know what I mean? So I think that's
Awesome.
cool too to watch your fellow group members be successful and just follow through
Yeah.
that work done. She's worked really hard and she continues
Yeah.
to do it all.
Yeah, I almost didn't take her on because she couldn't communicate the value of what she was offering very effective to me. And we had to have 3 calls. And then her husband finally convinced me, like, no, she's got something here. She's really good. I was like, okay. And then she got in the group, and then everybody was like, oh my God, where have you been? When I needed you. Right. And then
Right.
just again, having that group was just so powerful
Right.
with her too. So,
Yeah.
so cool. So
So
cool.
it's like I don't know what everyone else is doing, but I know Ori and I are doing good. So
Yes, yeah, yeah, it's awesome. Well, that's why I called you back, because I was just like, I could see little snippets and everything, and I'm like, I gotta call you in and find out what's going on. Like, I love to keep in touch with my clients as much as possible, but I know everybody's busy, so it's kind of hard. So again, thank you for
and you're
doing this.
yeah, no,
But
I
and
hope
what kind of things did you try in the past that didn't work, if anything, and
nothing. I
why?
was so like I would hang flyers and it was so high school. Do you know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? Like
Old school. Yeah.
I never really knew how to market myself.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't in truth, I knew how I was helping people, but I didn't know how to explain it or offer it. And so this work really helped me be able to articulate it succinctly. And it also really helped me understand who I wanted to work with, which I think is something. So here's
That's
another thing
key.
I think is really beneficial. I think that the thing that most of us come in with, at least this is what I heard on the calls, and this is how I felt, we wanted to have a great big expanse. Who can you help? I can help everybody.
Yes.
And, getting understanding that, like, maybe you don't want to help everybody. Like, maybe you're really good at helping a particular group of people. And having us narrow it down a little bit, even though it seems kind of counterintuitive. All the coaches tell you to do that, all the big wigs, they say, you got to have red dot, all the things. And so really getting clear on who we wanted to help and then that also gives you the freedom to say no, because that creates anxiety or whatever to work with this certain population. And so giving you the freedom to say no, here is my boundary, here is my group of people. I
Yeah.
think that's really impactful.
Hmm.
And it's not something we think about a lot. We want to have our net wide, but that's not always what's necessary.
Yeah, you may want to help everyone, but also is it a good fit for you, right? And it's a little bit of a scarcity mentality in some ways too, because it's like I need to help everybody, but it's like who can you get the best results for, right? Who's going to be that best fit for you so that you can really go deep with them and preserve your energy so that you
Right.
can show up as your best self to serve them too. I mean, there's so much that goes into that. Yeah. So yeah, my we use that my proprietary niche encoding system so that we can really get deep into who they are and what they want and what they need and then formulate everything kind of from there, right? We've got the mission statement, we get really clear on them, and then we can create this irresistible, valuable offer around who they are and what you ideally want to do and all that. And then we create all the marketing around that and everything just goes together. So great.
Everything goes together really beautifully. And I don't want to underestimate. I mean, I've run very successful businesses in the past, not to do with this. And we've all written, maybe we haven't all written mission statements, but it seemed oversimplified until
Uh-huh.
I did it. And then I was like, oh, God, of course, I have to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
to be swept under the rug. Oh, big deal. She's having you write a mission statement. It was like people really struggled with that.
I
You
know.
The belief systems are all wrapped up in it. And so
Yeah,
doing a lot of that unwinding, getting out of our own way work so that we can get really clear. And
yep.
it was
On
so,
one sentence. It's one sentence, but so much goes into that one sentence. Because if we don't get that
yeah. And,
nailed down first, it's like it doesn't, it falls apart.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I think overall, I will probably always come back to it, even in the midst of, in the middle of a successful business. I'm confident. I mean, I have all of it right here in my desk drawer. I printed it all out. I didn't do it online.
Yeah.
I'll go back and I'll be like, oh my God, I totally missed this,
Yeah.
and so I'll have new things to do.
Well,
Um,
yeah, and also, yeah, because now you have a whole new awareness too. So now
mhm,
you're looking at it with a different awareness because you've come through to the end. You've got all this clarity now that you didn't have before. So when you go back and look at it, you're looking at it again from a different perspective.
right.
And as you grow and expand, and yeah, I mean, it's just limitless.
It grows with you.
Awesome.
It really grows with you.
Good.
Yeah. So, I mean, I really couldn't say enough good stuff about it, honest. Like,
Yeah. Do you have any tips to share with those that are out there struggling with their business?
hmm. Yeah. I mean, don't make it about you, right? Make it about your service and how you're helping others. Like, how are other people, what are the results? That's what you say. You say,
Yep, over and
what?
over and over.
Mhm. Yeah. And also know yourself and know when you're getting in your own way. When you're limiting yourself with your belief systems, like that was probably the hardest piece and one of the first things that you tackle.
Yeah.
And that's probably the thing. Yeah, I mean that one's huge.
Yeah, I mean, I can teach all the fancy marketing tips in the world, but if unless that gets handled first, nothing's really going to work. And it's
Right.
really hard to see for yourself. Like you need that outside perspective to get somebody to notice, right, what it is and help you move through it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, because
It
it's
was,
like it's in your blind spot.
Yeah, it's in your blind spot. And yeah, you're exactly right. You have to do it in that order because none of the marketing and none of the strategy matters until you get this other piece done. And
Hmm.
so you have to be willing to do that it's really inner work in
Yeah.
order to grow into the person or the business that is going to give these results or offer these results. And so I mean, it's more than business school, if you will. You know what I
It
mean?
is. It really is. It's like life. It's life altering, life changing, like
I
you
mean,
said.
it's life changing.
Yeah.
I left my home of 25 years to move into acreage and start a retreat center. Like it's life
So
changing.
amazing. Such a
Yeah,
dream. Such a
this
dream come true.
has been my dream for as
Mm.
long as I can remember, and I didn't see a path forward.
Oh, I'm getting chills. So good. So
But
good.
so we're here doing it. It's great.
Yeah, you're awesome. And yeah, taking the action, making the investment, moving through any fears, doing the work,
Doing
I mean, deep 3 times, that's great. I mean, it just makes it so solid, right? And that's why like you did it, you took your time, you did it, you went deep, and now it's just like it's like the
well,
snowball effect.
and I failed a couple times. Like that's the other thing that you've got to recognize is like you might not get it your first time out of the gate.
Yeah.
The first time I did it was like where I was then. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sort of surface. The second time was what I thought I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And then the third time is my joy.
Yay, 3 times the charm.
So it took a few, and that's okay with me. You don't have to do the
Yeah.
program 3 times, but that first part, I did. I had to do
Yeah.
that. I,
Yeah. So
we,
instead of one week, it took 3 weeks.
yeah. So you just have to invite people to
But
not be afraid to fail because that's how we learn.
a lot of people, they're like, I'm sorry, I had to go back. I'm like, no, I mean, that's fine. And I mean, a lot of people have to go because there's a lot there to go through and unpack, and people don't realize, right, what's
Hmm.
going on until you go through it. But very cool. Do you have any parting advice?
Just keep at it, man. Joseph Campbell says, "Follow your bliss, and the rest will come." And I agree. And you need some practical tools. Yeah, you need some help following your bliss.
Mm.
Certainly in today's world. And so, yes, that's true. But get the help. And remember that like this work is an investment in yourself. Like
Yeah.
it's really it's an investment in yourself. If you want to love the life that you're living, this can help you get there.
Yeah. So great. So great. Awesome, awesome. And yeah, for all of you out there that are watching this, if you want to, if you want some more information about this and you want to go deeper and get some clarity around how you can apply these things to your business, I'll put the link in the description or comments here so that you can click on that. It's a free masterclass, the one that Jess went through the very first time, to find me, my valuable free offer. It just breaks down like and gives you so much clarity around why you might be stuck, why you might be spinning your wheels or confused or overwhelmed about how to get that business going, working, how to get this type of a dream lifestyle for yourself. I'll put that link here. Thank you so much, Jess. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate, yes,
I
my pleasure. My pleasure. Yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing your story and what you've gone through. And yeah, I appreciate it. I think it's going to help a lot of people. So
hope
thanks
so.
again.
All
Yeah,
right. You have a great one.
you too.
Okay, bye.